When talking about military technology, we understand that not only do we not know half of it, but the weapons that are used are so many and so ingenious that if we do a proper search even around the internet, we will be absolutely shocked. Just consider that even the internet was originally invented for military purposes, and you'll start to understand how big of an impact the military weapons play in our lives. Today we present to you the top 10 most insane weapons of all time. Number 1. Phaser. PHASR, phaser, means Personal Halting and Stimulation Response Rifle, and it is a prototype non-lethal laser dazzler which was developed by the Air Force Research Laboratory's Directed Energy Directorate, U.S. Department of Defense. Now, what does all this mean? Well, simply that the US created a weapon that is not made to kill, but disorient and stun enemies. It is made to be used by both the Army and the police, and when it is used, it temporarily blinds the enemy with a focused laser beam. We can only imagine how much easier it would be to arrest an enemy who not only can't see anymore, but can't even stand. It surely is a great alternative to some traditional weapons. Number 2. The corner shot. The corner shot is a weapon accessory that was invented by Lieutenant Colonel Amos Golan of the Israeli Defense Forces in cooperation with American investors. If you need a clue as to what this weapon does, you can find it in the title. It is especially designed to enable soldiers to both see and fire around corners. It comes in two versions. One is a semi-automatic pistol and the other is a grenade launcher. A hinge is placed in the center of the weapon, which then enables the barrel to pivot to the left or right, while the handle and trigger remain stationary. Also, a camera and a flashlight are attached to the weapon as well, so soldiers can actually see what they are shooting at around the corners. Already more than 15 countries are using it. Number 3. ADS. The ADS, or Active Denial System, is yet another non-lethal weapon created by the US Department of Defense. This one is specifically made in order to help officers disperse crowds by transmitting an invisible electromagnetic radiation beam, which creates a burning sensation on people's skin. This is called the goodbye effect, and we can perfectly see why. Who would want to stay in a place where they feel like they're burning? But this weapon is not as well received as the phaser. It has been called a torture device by many, although the officials and security experts say that it can be used along other non-lethal weapons and still be extremely efficient. What do you think about this? Number 4. The Railgun. The Railgun comes to us from the US Navy, and it is an electromagnetic railgun that can fire a projectile faster than the speed of sound. Oh yeah, you heard that correctly. We said faster than the speed of sound. Often considered as a super weapon, the railgun can shoot at Mach 8, which is 8 times faster than the speed of sound. Again, yes, you are hearing this correctly. It can reach 5,000 miles per hour. The plans for this weapon are to be used in the Navy in order to protect warships, but because of the extreme power of it, a lot of people think that it is a really bad idea to start using it. After all, it can literally fire on an entire battlefield from offshore. Number 5. Quantum Stealth. This one brings to mind images of the movie Predator, and it has the right to do so. In very simple words, what this weapon does is make you invisible. How do you ask? By bending light around the object it is hiding. And while we're not 100% sure what this means in real life, there are many photos around the internet which proves the efficiency of this weapon. When it is in use, it allows soldiers to infiltrate enemy territory without being detected, which means that surprise attacks do not require agents that are high skilled in stealth mode. Sounds like a sci-fi movie, but it is true, and it is here. Number 6. Talos. And since we're talking about sci-fi movies, another invention that seems like it can't be real, but actually is Talos. Talos means Tactical Assault Light Operator Suit, and what it does is basically turn you into Iron Man. And yeah, it is pretty much as cool as it sounds. It is basically a robotic exoskeleton that soldiers put on before entering a combat zone. This suit could enable soldiers to withstand not only bullets but also fire, check their vital signs, see in the dark, and advance their strength. Although it might seem like the ultimate solution for soldiers, it stopped being in use abruptly in 2019, and there are no immediate plans to start using it again. Number 7. Vomit Gun. Now you might think that it's not as it sounds, but we're here to tell you that it actually is. The vomit gun was invented by a company called Invacon, who sold it to the US Navy in order to develop a weapon that uses radio frequency to impact a person's sense of hearing and equilibrium. And we all know too well what comes next. It causes the person to throw up because of the extreme motion sickness. It is good that this is also a non-lethal weapon, but we cannot imagine how messy things would get if this were used in a battlefield. After the US Navy though, Russia seems to be particularly interested in the vomit gun solution, and it went on to outfit its warships with a device called the Filin 5P42, which is kind of a 3-in-1 type of weapon, as it also blinds, confuses, and makes the enemies want to vomit. We are seriously hoping that a vomit war is not in the planning. Number 8. Sentient unmanned vehicles. We talked about how the quantum stealth weapon was just like the Predator, so now it's only fair to talk about how the sentient unmanned vehicles are just like Terminator. The US military is very keen to explore all the possibilities given by unmanned vehicles that would think like a man, but would not require a man to be inside in order to operate them. And don't think we're only talking about drones. We're talking about unmanned airplanes, bomb removal buggies, undersea small submarines, and of course, surveillance robots. As you can very well imagine, this technology has caused a lot of concern to people who say that technically we would give robots a license to kill, and nobody, and we mean nobody, would want that. Number 9. ARmatrix digital revolver. It might not sound as impressive as the other weapons in this list, but the ARmatrix digital revolver is not only futuristic looking, it promotes gun safety. How does a revolver promote gun safety though? Well, the pistol has a digital safety mechanism that can only be disabled if the owner of the gun wears a special wristwatch, which can send the unlock signal to the gun. Meaning that if you're not the owner, you cannot use this gun apart from holding it and saying, "Pow pow." Also, it means that the weapon cannot be used against its owner. We think that if we have to use guns, this one might prove to be a good solution. Number 10. V40 Mini Grenade. Also called golf ball grenades, this type of grenade was manufactured in the Netherlands and were in service both in the Canadian Forces and the US Armed Forces. They may not be in use anymore, but back in the 1960s until the mid-1980s, they were the thing. They were literally the size of a golf ball, just 2.5 inches high and 1.5 inches in diameter, and they were as deadly as the standard size grenades. It was considered lethal up to a radius of 5 meters and highly dangerous up to 300 meters. But the cute size was this grenade's unmaking too. It was too difficult for soldiers to handle and would explode without warning. Which one of the top 10 most insane weapons of all time did you find to be the most insane of them all? Do you know of any others that we might have missed? Let us know in the comments below.